Hello everybody and welcome to episode 14 of Building Felucia in LEGO. In this episode I get a ton of progress done, including the turret and some changes to that whole command section that I will talk about, as well as finishing the rock work and getting quite a bit of progress done on the shuttle. So without further ado, let's get into the progress I made on the shuttle. Okay everybody, so starting off the episode strong with the progress I've made on the shuttle. As you can see, the whole bottom half of the front is complete. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and the jump at the end of that short time lapse was just getting these tiles in. It was very difficult and annoying, so I didn't really want to show the tedious process of it all falling apart and me having to rebuild it over and over to get those tiles in, but I think it pulls it together and makes it look a lot better. I was also able to finish the windshield. I'm pretty happy with it. It's a little simpler than all the other designs for the windshields, but I think it looks good enough, and with the tight amount of space, it's pretty much the best I can do, especially since I still have to make the curved edge and make it beveled, and hopefully it all works out and I have the shuttle done before the finale. So without further ado, let's get into the turret and the design changes I've made to that upper portion of the MOC. Okay, so moving on to the changes to this section here. I have decided to remove that whole command section area. It was a little too tall and would have felt kind of out of place, plus I didn't have very many ideas for what that was even going to be used for, so I decided to scrap the idea and just put the turret down on this platform. I really like the design I was able to come up with for this turret. As you know, I used that wheel, the wagon wheel, to create the base, and then I used some loose tiles to create this detail around, and then built this kind of dome-like structure out of mainly just curved slopes and snot bricks. So moving on to the barrel, I have constructed it just using various different sized pieces, making it taper towards the tip. I've also used a pretty interesting technique to add this little detail here, just attaching a hand between the gap of the two round plate and the rounded kind of cone-like thing. And I think this fits really well with the overall vibe of this base. I think it's a lot better than the command station. It just makes it feel sleeker and a little more of an actual top secret base, which is what it is supposed to be. So next, let's get into the rock work. Okay, so it's not anything too special, but I just wanted to show the gap filled. I'm not as happy with it as this side, just because I didn't want to use plants to fill the crack that ends up being there. I had to just wedge a ton of small pieces in there, which looks slightly worse than the plants. Plus, I was a little more limited with pieces, so there are a few more flaws, but I still think it looks quite good for that section, especially since it will be covered by the shuttle. It's not as important as this side. And the last thing I want to show you this episode is actually the lighting I put in. I'm going to add one more for the laboratory over here, but I want to show you the one I did put in. So let's turn the mock around and show you that. Okay, so once I turn the light on, you can see it doesn't light up the entire base, which wasn't exactly my goal with this light. I just wanted it to be enough to make it kind of glow red, especially from the door side, just to make the droids feel a little more scary marching out of the door, especially since the droids aren't all that scary. They're kind of silly, and only having maybe 15 or so marching out the door against a whole group of clones, I think it'll just add a good vibe to that. I have also finished up this little panel over here. I think it looks pretty good, and with the other red light somewhere in here, it'll light up this room well enough to actually be able to see it. It's pretty hard to see right now, but it looks pretty good, and I was able to add in some tiles in these just to add that little bit of detail. The last thing I want to talk about this episode is what will be happening next episode and the following episode after that. Since I am pretty much done with the mock, next episode should be the last one before the finale, because all I really have to do left on the base of the mock is just this terrain section and the rest of the shuttle, which isn't too much work, and receiving my order about a week from now, I should be able to get that all done before next episode and be able to show you everything finished except small details, minifigures, stuff like that, which will all be done in the finale, which should be a month from the release of this episode, the showcase the week after that, and that all leaves Felucia being finished in around a month, which I am super happy with the time frame of that, especially since I want to take a break from large-scale mocks, or what I consider to be a large-scale mock, for about a month after that before I start the next series, which I did reveal, but there will be some large changes to that just because it will be so long from when I originally got that idea that I've been kind of inspired by other things, and I'm less enthusiastic about that idea, and it may change completely, but I do still want to do some kind of swamp kind of terrain and feeling to the mock, so it won't be changing too much. Sadly, that is going to wrap up episode 14 of Building Felucia in LEGO. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing, as well as letting me know anything that you think I should do differently or change, or any just overall critiques or tips on the mock itself, or anything else that I am doing in video production. And anyways, thank you for watching, and see you guys in next episode.